Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. An outpouring of grief and anger in Israel after the bodies of 6 hostages, including an Israeli-American, are recovered. 7 U.S. troops injured in a dramatic raid on ISIS forces. And workers strike several big hotel chains. First, the heartbreak in Israel. Tens of thousands take to the streets following the discovery of 6 hostages who'd been held by Hamas, all shot to death at close range. Among them, Hersh Goldberg-Polin, a 23-year-old Israeli-American. President Biden speaking with his family, saying he's devastated. The protesters upping the pressure on Netanyahu, demanding a ceasefire and the return of the remaining hostages. Israel's largest trade union calling for a nationwide strike. Our team is following the late developments. Also tonight, new details on an American attack on ISIS fighters in western Iraq. Officials say 15 ISIS fighters killed, 7 U.S. troops injured as they confront militants armed with hand grenades and wearing suicide vests. Severe storms threaten holiday plans in the Northeast as a record number of Americans are traveling this weekend. All of this as 10,000 hotel workers go on strike against several large hotel operators. How this could impact your travel plans. An NFL rookie shot in the chest during an alleged robbery attempt in San Francisco, just days before he was supposed to begin his NFL career. The latest on his condition and what we've learned about the 17-year-old suspect. The widow of NHL star Johnny Gaudreau posts an emotional tribute days after Gaudreau and his brother were killed while biking. Meredith Gaudreau thanking him for the, quote, best years of her life. 3 people killed when a small plane slams into a row of townhouses. Fire spreading through several units. Thousands in the area lose power. The unexpected benefit to certain obesity drugs. What a new study suggests. Oasis fans frustrated after scrambling to buy tickets to their upcoming tour. Some forced to wait hours online. And America Strong. An athlete turns tragedy into triumph and how he's inspiring so many others.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this busy Sunday. I'm Mary Bruce in for Lindsay Davis. Tonight, tens of thousands of Israelis are hoping to pressure Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu into accepting a deal for the release of the remaining hostages held by Hamas. The protests coming one day after the discovery of the bodies of 6 hostages, including that of Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg-Polin. Today, a sea of humanity converging on Tel Aviv, the largest of many protests across Israel. And tomorrow, the country's largest trade union calling for a general strike that could shut down the country. The news of the recovery by the IDF of those 6 men and women sending shockwaves through Israel and the United States. Their remains found in a tunnel in Rafah. The parents of 23-year-old Hersh Goldberg-Polin just days ago joining a protest at the Gazan border with other hostage families using a loudspeaker to shout out to their loved ones. The Goldberg-Polin family now saying they are heartbroken. ABC's Britt Clennett leads us off from Tel Aviv.
Tonight, tens of thousands of protesters packing into central Tel Aviv in Israel's biggest protest since the war began, to voice their anger after 6 more hostage bodies are found in Gaza, including Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg-Polin. Israeli forensics determining that Hamas shot all 6 of them at close range between Thursday and Friday morning. The protest tonight fueled by outrage at Prime Minister Netanyahu. 40-year-old Kamel Gat taken from Kibbutz Be'eri on October 7th among those 6 killed. Her cousin Gil Dickman saying Netanyahu should be held responsible for the hostage deaths.
Our Prime Minister Netanyahu decided that he wants to sacrifice her and all the other hostages to keep on fighting this war. And now we see what happens. Netanyahu, you killed them. You killed them. It might not have been you who pulled the trigger, but you placed the gun over their head.
The wife of Israeli-American hostage Keith Siegel Aviva, a former captive released in November, saying the 6 bodies returning are only adding to her deepest fear.
We got the proof of life, but you know what? It's worth nothing. It's worth nothing. Keith could be killed now. He could be tortured now, starving, and screaming for help. We need all the hostages home.
The protest now spilling over to one of Israel's main highways.
Demonstrators chanting slogans demanding Netanyahu strike a deal.
Lighting fires on this highway, screaming, why are they still in Gaza?
Earlier today, Netanyahu saying whoever murders hostages does not want a deal. Meanwhile, President Biden speaking to Hersh's parents to offer his condolences, saying in a statement he is devastated and outraged at their son's death. Rachel Goldberg and John Polin giving an emotional plea for peace at the Democratic National Convention just days ago.
Hersh Goldberg-Polin.
Hopeful for his return after Hamas released this video in April showing Hersh alive, his head shaved, missing part of his left arm. Believed to have been blown off on October 7th when Hamas terrorists took him captive at that music festival that came under attack. Tonight, his parents saying they are left with broken hearts at news of his death. Just days after the attack, Rachel and John telling David the last text messages they received from their son.
There were two messages in a row at 8:11. The first one said, "I love you," and the second one said, "I'm sorry." So I immediately knew something terrible had happened. I tried immediately to call him, and it rang and rang and rang. I wrote, "Are you okay?" No answer. "Are you okay? Let me know you're okay." And so that's the last time we heard from him, was at 8:11 Saturday morning.
And Britt joins us now from Tel Aviv, where those protests are taking place. So, Britt, how do these demonstrations compare to the ones you've seen in the past?
Mary, I've been to many of these protests over the past 11 months. Nothing has been this big. The rage there palpable. Demonstrators hoping this could be a potential turning point. And tomorrow, the Israeli business world joining in to mount pressure on Netanyahu, with 800,000 workers announcing a general strike, including at Israel's main airport. Mary?
A potential turning point indeed, Britt. Thank you. 4 Americans are believed to be among the hostages still alive in Gaza. ABC's MaryAlice Parks joins us now from the White House. And MaryAlice, so what comes next here? What pressure is the Biden administration going to put on Prime Minister Netanyahu to secure the release of these remaining hostages?
Mary, just last night, President Biden said he thought they were on the verge of a ceasefire deal. Now, 2 weeks ago, we know that the United States helped put on the table a potential deal that would have included the release of vulnerable hostages, including Hersh. Now, we're told by those close to the negotiations, it would have also included massive relief for the people of Gaza, the release of Palestinian prisoners, too. But the talks have been at an impasse. And no doubt the killing of these hostages will add urgency. But the question is, what other leverage does President Biden have? We know there are 7 American hostages still in Gaza. 3 of those have been confirmed dead. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan also spoke today with the families of American hostages. Mary?
Yeah, all eyes on how this will impact those talks and those negotiations. And MaryAlice, while we have you, let's turn quickly to the race for the White House. A new ABC News Ipsos poll shows Vice President Harris ahead of Donald Trump, but not indicating any bump from the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah, Mary, our latest poll shows still a really tight race. Interesting that straight head-to-head matchup still essentially unchanged since before Democrats had their convention. Harris still enjoying a slight lead. You see it there, 50 to 46% nationwide among registered voters. Notable that since her convention, though, Harris is doing better with women, now leading Trump among women by 13 points, up from 6. Trump leads among men by 5 points. It's also worth noting that Donald Trump also did not get that traditional post-convention bounce in our polls, perhaps a sign that voters' ideas are just really baked in. Mary?
Okay, MaryAlice, thank you. New details tonight on the raid by U.S. troops in western Iraq targeting ISIS militants. 7 Americans were injured. Officials say 15 ISIS members were killed. ABC's James Longman joins us now from London. James?
Mary, 7 U.S. troops have been injured in an early morning raid in western Iraq on what officials are calling key ISIS leaders. Now, 5 of these troops were injured in the operation itself, 2 of them in falls, and 1 had to be evacuated from the region. We're told this was a joint operation with international coalition fighting ISIS. Airstrikes struck the area before U.S. special forces swooped in. They were met by militants with suicide belts and grenades. 15 of them were killed. Now, U.S. troops stationed both in Syria and Iraq have become increasingly vulnerable to attacks, not just from ISIS, but by Iranian-backed militia in the region. And it's U.S. support for Israel in its war in Gaza, which is fueling those attacks. Mary?
Okay, James, thank you. Back here at home, millions of Americans are on the move on this last long weekend of summer as severe storms threaten. The TSA expecting to screen 17 million passengers, more than any previous Labor Day in the agency's 23-year history. For those traveling by car, gas prices are down nearly 50 cents from this time last year, according to AAA. And tonight, all eyes are on the forecast. WABC meteorologist Danny Beckstrom joins us now. So, Danny, what's in store for Labor Day?
Yeah, Mary, so far the Northeast has seen a soggy, unsettled holiday weekend. But things are looking up for Labor Day as dew points drop and clouds clear into tomorrow. Right now, you're looking at the front that's kept radar active today, but it clears the Northeast tonight with drier air moving in behind it, meaning sunny skies and pleasant highs for the holiday, with a similar story in the Great Lakes and in the Heartland. Unfortunately, that same front stalls over the Southeast, keeping showers and storms in play on Monday. Out west, it's all about the dry heat and elevated fire danger. As you see temps climbing into Wednesday, that excessive heat watch now issued from Fresno to Phoenix Wednesday through Friday as the heat becomes dangerous. Mary?
Okay, Danny, thank you. One day ahead of Labor Day, thousands of hotel workers are walking off the job at major chains in 8 cities, including Boston and Honolulu, and more workers could soon follow. ABC's Ike Ajachi joins us now. So, Ike, what are workers demanding, and what sort of impact is the strike expected to have?
Well, Mary, let's take a look at this by the numbers. 10,000 workers are striking at 25 hotels in 8 cities across the country, from San Francisco to Boston, as contract talks stall. Now, Labor Union Unite here says they're fighting for higher wages and an end to pandemic-era service and staffing cuts, saying they won't accept a new normal. Now, workers from desk staff to housekeepers are striking at properties including Hyatt and Hilton. Both hotels have said they are willing to negotiate. Now, the union says 15,000 of its members have voted to authorize the strikes. Now, they're expected to last 2 or 3 days in each city during this busy holiday travel weekend, and more workers could be hitting those picket lines. Mary?
Okay, we shall see, Ike. Thank you. A 17-year-old is in custody tonight in the shooting of San Francisco 49er rookie Ricky Pearsall. Police say the boy, armed with a gun, was attempting to rob Pearsall. The two struggled and both were shot. Pearsall and the suspect are recovering. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Tonight, NFL player Ricky Pearsall out of the hospital and recovering at home after he was shot in the chest by a teenager during an alleged attempted robbery in downtown San Francisco.
As far as we know right now, the suspect was acting alone, but as I said, this is an active investigation, so we have a lot of work to do.
ABC News sources briefed on the investigation believe Pearsall was targeted because he was wearing a high-end watch at the time, not because he is an NFL player.
Does that worry you moving forward?
Of course, yeah. Now we're worried. That's what I said. I'd take off my watch because I don't feel safe now walking around here.
That robbery happening in broad daylight. A 17-year-old suspect confronted Pearsall and pulled out a gun, according to police.
A struggle between Mr. Pearsall and the suspect ensued, and the suspect's gun struck both Mr. Pearsall and the subject.
This comes as the NFL season is set to start in less than a week. Pearsall seen practicing at the 49ers training camp earlier this summer. Nationwide robberies are down in the first 6 months of the year. San Francisco also seeing a drop in robberies from over 1,300 last year to under 1,100.
Mary, the investigation on this case is ongoing, but the suspect is in custody. Authorities say he's from the community of Tracy. That is 60 miles east here of San Francisco. Mary?
And just days before the start of the season, Melissa, thank you. Federal investigators are on the scene of a fatal plane crash in a residential area in Oregon. The twin-engine Cessna slamming into a row of townhomes in Fairview, bursting there into flames, killing the 2 people on the plane and 1 on the ground. Details from ABC's Perry Russum.
Tonight's stunning new video of a small plane crashing into this Oregon neighborhood, killing 3 people. The twin-engine Cessna going down Saturday morning in Fairview, about 15 miles east of Portland, close to a regional airfield.
Crash approximately 2 miles west of the field. Big black smoke in a residential area.
The local fire chief confirming 3 people killed. The pilot, a passenger, and someone inside their own home.
I hear an explosion. I turn around. I see the flames.
New pictures show what appears to be a part of the plane's landing gear in the rubble.
There's a somewhat large debris field, and so right now we're collecting parts of the airplane.
Julia Ritchie Cody says her sister lives 2 houses away.
My sister's lost her home. It's going to take a long time to recover from this.
The plane also took down power lines, starting a small brush fire. The fire department is blaming mechanical issues for the crash. The FAA is investigating. Mary?
What a devastating scene, Perry. Thank you. A new study finds popular weight loss drugs may reduce the risk of dying from COVID in some patients. Researchers studied overweight patients with heart disease who took the drugs during the pandemic. More now from ABC's Faith Abube.
Tonight, new findings about popular weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy. A recent study on their active ingredient semaglutide found that it may reduce the risk of death for certain at-risk individuals. Researchers followed more than 17,000 participants over 3 years and found that those taking semaglutide were 34% less likely to die from a COVID-19 infection and 19% less likely to die overall from other causes compared to those not taking it. The study, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, only followed adults who were overweight or obese and had known cardiovascular disease without diabetes.
Obesity itself is a risk factor for getting severe illness or dying from COVID-19. So people who are overweight or obese, if they lose some of that body weight, they're going to be better protected against severe complications.
Experts say more research is needed to determine whether semaglutide could provide the same benefits for others. News of the groundbreaking study comes as the U.S. sees a rise in new COVID infections. After a drop in the last month, the CDC estimates infections are now growing or likely growing in 20 states.
And Mary, it's also worth noting that in that study, semaglutide did not actually prevent COVID-19 infections, but it did reduce the likelihood of complications and deaths. Mary?
Okay, Faith, thank you. And there is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. The widow of an NHL All-Star killed while riding a bicycle, now speaking out about her loss. And why a lot of Oasis fans were left frustrated when they tried to buy concert tickets. Next tonight, the widow of NHL star Johnny Gaudreau is speaking out after her loss with a photo of their family. Meredith Gaudreau saying on Instagram, "Thank you for the best years of my life. Despite losing you, I am still the luckiest girl in the world to have been yours." Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew died Thursday, hit by an alleged drunk driver while cycling in New Jersey. And tributes are also pouring in for hip-hop artist Fatman Scoop. He collapsed on stage Friday night at a show in Hamden, Connecticut, and later died. The cause of death has not been determined. He was known for his gravelly voice and collaborations with Missy Elliott, Mariah Carey, and Ciara. Fatman Scoop was just 53 years old. And when we come back, fans waited 15 years for an Oasis reunion, but what happened when they tried to buy those tickets? To the Index now, and a mega concert tour with mega problems for ticket buyers. Hundreds of thousands of Oasis fans received that error message and faced long waits as they tried to buy tickets online Saturday. A ticketing industry official blamed it on the enormous demand for tickets. It's the first tour for Oasis since breaking up 15 years ago. And the college football season kicked into high gear with a couple of marquee matchups Saturday. The top-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, hoping to win their third national championship in 4 years, dominated number 14 Clemson, and two late scores powered 7th-ranked Notre Dame to a win on the road over Texas A&M. And another big game is just ahead. LSU takes on USC. That game right here on ABC at 7:30 Eastern. And when we come back, a former college football star now blazing new trails at the Paralympics. And finally tonight, America Strong, the athlete who's an inspiration to others. Derek Loxodent was a sophomore football player for the University of Central Oklahoma when he lost most of his lower leg in an accident. But his passion for athletics only grew stronger. Thanks to his determination, hard work, and a prosthetic leg, today he's at the Paralympics, competing in track and field events for Team USA. And now he's passing on his perseverance, mentoring the next generation, forming an immediate bond with Eliza Schultz, born missing a leg and several fingers. They first met 5 years ago.
We're both similar to wanting to dominate a sport.
Elijah, now 13, received his first running leg when he was 4 and has been on the move ever since.
There you go.
He is an inspiration for me.
Yes!
This summer, stunning the crowd, winning the 100-meter at the UCO Endeavor Games.
Oh my God, oh my.
Derek, they are proudly watching on.
What I'm showing Elijah is it doesn't matter what happens to you. It's about how you respond to that situation.
Our thanks to Derek for passing on that passion. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Bruce. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.